right, well, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the RPG panel here at the Xbox event at GDC. I'm Jeff Keighley, a journalist in the video game business, write for Entertainment Weekly, and also host a show on Spike TV called Gamehead. And I'm really honored to have three guys that are at the top of their game, so to speak, and real storytellers. And I think one of the things we're going to explore today is what the nature of a role-playing game is. But all three of these guys, I think, are master storytellers in this medium. And let me give sort of quick introductions for each of them. We have, of course, Sakaguchi-san from Mistwalker, and his legacy includes Final Fantasy, Blue Dragon, and coming this holiday, Lost Odyssey. Thanks for joining us. From the United Kingdom, we've got someone from a different country here, every different panelist. We've got, of course, Peter Molyneux, who's working on Fable 2, which he was showing today, and a fantastic legacy of First Fable, Black and White, Populous, Magic Carpet, Theme Park, the list goes on and on. Peter, thanks for joining us. And finally, from my home country of Canada, got Dr. Muzyka from Bioware, who's working on Mass Effect, and of course a great legacy of games like Knights of the Old Republic and many other RPGs that most of you guys are familiar with. So I wanted to kick this off by asking a broad question to you, Mr. Sakaguchi, about RPGs and how they've changed over time. Because you've done RPGs for so many years. What's the difference between making an RPG today for a next-gen system like the Xbox 360 versus the first RPGs that you made? What's different about it?
Sorry, English is my second language, so I speak in Japanese, and he translates. What is question?オールドタイムとね。いや、もう全然 3D じゃないし、昔は映像も全然違うんで、ドット絵で、とにかくシステムでイマジネーションをどれだけユーザーにこう喚起させるかが大事だったんだけど、今はとにかく映像が全てを語ってくれるんで、もともとストーリーテリングをしたくて RPG を作り続けていたんで、今の方が作りやすいですね。映像演出をしやすいんで。
So I'll translate for Sakaguchi-san. So the biggest evolution comes from an improvement in graphics, and the more powerful expressions become, the easier it is to create a game that users can sympathize with or relate to the storylines. And Sakaguchi-san himself is a strong advocate of telling the story in RPG. So a game that can really, the gamers can sympathize, relate to the characters and storyline. That's high definition as well as 3D graphical engine can really allow him to explore into that.
Peter or Ray, do you have anything to add to that?
RPGs was certainly the first game I ever played. Was Wizardry on the Apple, and I think I drove 150 miles because my disc got corrupted to get another disc, and I lost my first girlfriend to Wizardry. And the funny thing is, for me, yeah, the graphics have changed. They have. This was sort of wireframe, walking down the dungeon, and there's a little bitmap that came up when you met a monster, and that has changed, and it's very significant. But the actual structure of RPGs haven't really changed that much. I think there's been some evolutions, but they're still recognisable back then and now. And I think there's some opportunities maybe for some changes there. I don't know who's going to do it, but there is definitely opportunities.
So one of the neat things I see, and we've played the same games. I'm a huge fan of the old school RPGs like Wizardry and Ultima and Bard's Tale and all those great games from the past as well. And you can certainly see that there were elements back then that are still elements in the role-playing games of today. But at the same time, the genre has evolved. And the neat thing for me is seeing other genres incorporate RPG elements increasingly. So it's almost like, what is an RPG? It's a blended definition now, because you've got action elements, you've got story, characters, you've got exploration, you've got customization, progression, but every game is doing that to some degree. So I would argue that the entire industry is moving towards incorporation of RPG elements. So almost everything has RPG components to it now, which is for us is very exciting at Bioware because we're passionate about making great stories and characters and fantastic RPGs.
Well, it's a good question to look at. The idea of what is an RPG, because I think some people would look at a game like Grand Theft Auto San Andreas or Crackdown and say, they're much more sort of action games, but they certainly have a lot of RPG elements. And RPG, I think, in the past has been sort of seen as a niche audience with very hardcore stats and character development. Are all games going to, do you think, are going to include these RPG elements? And then, what becomes of the RPG genre? Because, you look at a game like, Mass Effect or Fable, Lost Odyssey, they're very action-oriented now. Who wants to start?
So for Bioware, just talking about the definition of a role-playing game, the definition is increasingly broad as we look for inspiration to great games like GTA and other games as well. And we merge in some of those elements into our games, the same way they're merging elements of role-playing games into their games. So we define RPGs. That's actually a major project for Bioware. We've been spending a lot of time thinking about what is an RPG, and we've defined the concept of activity pillars. So first and foremost, our mission is to deliver the best story-driven games in the world. We're always striving for that. And of course, we've got great peers here on the panel that we're looking to for inspiration as we do that. So story and character is one of the activity pillars we focus on. Exploration and being sent that sense of awe as you're uncovering new worlds. That's a big part of it. Addictive customization progression, so that you're expanding your character's abilities, you're getting new teammates to bring with you into the world. That's another part of it. And combat that really makes you feel something, makes you feel fear, or when you're encountering certain enemies. Those are the 4 activity pillars that we focus on in our games. We link them together in activity chains so that you're being pulled along. You're just so eager to uncover a new area to explore that you have to get that new weapon that allows you to defeat the enemies that are blocking you from getting there. Once you get there, there's some new folks to talk to, and you get more story elements exposed, and you get more items to progress and customize your character. So we're defining it based on those activity pillars and the activity chains. And increasingly, again, we said earlier that a lot of games are building these components into their games now. So that's exciting for us to see the RPG definition broadening and encapsulating more and more mass consumer concepts. So we're reaching new consumers as well as our existing core RPG fans. And other genres are blending in RPG elements too.
I agree with everything you said, absolutely, Ray. You're completely 100% correct. It's also interesting that those are going across to other games. For me, it comes back to this one simple phrase: role-playing game. You are playing a role. And what I really want to experiment with, and I think is really exciting, is to say, right, what should it feel like to be a hero? To start off as nothing and to end up being a hero. That is a journey, an emotional journey that you're going through. And that is my real focus. If, really, that's the differential for me from role-playing a boxing game. You're a boxer. What I want to do is make you feel like a hero. Make you feel like you're significant. And that, I think, is one evolution I'd like to try and nail in Fable 2. Most people have seen some of the stuff we're going to be talking about today. What I'm really talking about there is, that emotional engagement that I wanted you all to buy into.
Sorry, how do you special? RPG 要素。システムとか映像とかいろいろ大事なものはいっぱいあるんですけど、僕はとにかくストーリーを語りたいし、いいキャラクターを作ってそこに感情移入してほしいし、なんていうんだろう、ファイナルファンタジーもそうなんですけど、最後に終わった時になんかエネルギーを電源切った後もエネルギーをもらえる感じがあるんですよね。まあ長時間プレイするせいもあるんだろうけど、だからそれを一番大事に作り続けてるし、まあそれはだから逆に他のジャンルでも同じなんじゃないですか。答えになって分かんない。
So I feel that while system and visual fidelity are important in not only in RPG but in other games, what I'd like to do, what Sakaguchi-san is trying to accomplish, is to tell a great storyline. and the characters and the